There's a certain amount of arrogance you need to create things. Like, I should say this, I should do this, and I should put this out in the world.
Yeah.
I made a great thing, and I should share it. And it is for you, even though it's for other people. You know, even when we were talking about your special, it's like, you were really proud of this thing. Like, this is something you worked on for fucking, you would say it a lot. You'd be like, I put 5 years into this. And it's like,
never put that much time in anything.
Dude, and it was really cool. Like, I'll be honest, of all the comics that I've spoken to about, like, you know, how to release a special and that kind of stuff, you were fucking locked in. And you said something funny. You were like, well, it was also Sober October. Like, I'd never be able to do this if I was smoking weed every single day. But you were fucking sober and sharp and, you know, exercising, burning 500 calories every day.
You helped me so much, dude. I was right from the start, I was like, hey, is there anything I should know? You're always really fucking good about it. Even when I had like my first like stand-up clip, I was like, I think I'll put a clip up. And you're like, well, make sure to put all the things, big shot of your face, big writing. I was like, okay. He goes, you're like, send it to me. I'll just do it and send it back to you. I was like, okay.
By me doing it, one of these guys did it. I just want to let you know.
Right. Yeah. By me, it's like saying I put a deck on my house. You're like, no. You accidentally put a deck on your house. You just went like this.
Any advice that I gave you on the special was from this community right here.
But yeah, then the special came and I was like, anything I should know? You're like, well, yeah, what's your trailer look like? I'm like, oh, do I need a trailer? You just wrote back, bro. Yeah. And I was like, what? I don't know any of this. I don't know. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
You just
but
like
you
walked me
absorbed
through
the fuck out of it and you went after it and you had your own ideas and certain ones like really worked and they enhanced it. And other ones I was like, it's a little bit too much. Let's kind of like bring it back. But like you were just really hungry for this thing to be seen. And I thought that was really cool because a lot of people, especially comics, I think that, you know, we feel insecure like promoting our own shit, which is the dumbest thing in the world because if you really believe in something that you've made, like you should want people to see it.
Yeah.
If you don't think it's worth seeing, then they're not going to see it at all.
It's hard. You're gonna be like, oh, shit, I don't know here, but like
I don't like the all shucks promotion.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Because if you believe in something, get behind it. I think Tyler, the Creator, said it the best. There was a clip that I like reposted, but he was like, yo, you put your fucking blood, sweat, and tears into like, this is what you do. If you think it's dope, let people know it's fucking dope.
Yeah, I had a comic, Carl LeBove, he's friends with Kinnison. He was just like a helpful comic when I started, and he was selling merch after a show. I'm like, don't you feel like a cornball doing that? And he goes, no, if there's a keychain maybe, but these are my CDs. This is the
thing I care about.
Yeah, because no, I want more people to see this.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that makes sense. See, but yeah, with this special, it was like, I want people to see it.
Yeah.
This one especially.
And it's especially good when the product is good, I find it's way easier to promote it. Like when you believe in the thing.
Right. As opposed to like if you're in some shitbox movie and then they're like, hey, go and promote it. And you're like, so it's fun to work with Mila Kunis. Yeah. And you just know, it's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one was great. I love how the comics have all gotten behind it.
Yeah.
It's been really helpful and like.
Yeah. And just people seeing it. Like I've had a lot of people individually reach out to me and just be like, hey, I saw this thing and it was cool. It was like focused on this one thing, but it's still jokes, like non-comics. I'm talking about like friends of mine. And their reactions were great to it. And I was like, oh, wow, the special has breached the atmosphere.
Proliferated? Yeah.
I always look at that. I was like, if my non-comic friends who all think they're comedy fans, they're fans of comedy, but they're not like locked in. When they start sending the DMs and they start asking me if I know of a person or whatever, I'm like, oh wow, you've gone out. Exactly.
It's gotten out, yeah.
Because there's the Rogan sphere, which we all exist in, and there are people who are not familiar with us through that. When they're watching,
I don't have 4.5 million people who know who I am.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I probably got 130,000. So the rest,
so that's, to
4.4 is on the house.
We can go on and on about it, but like that's the perfect example like why you do something like this, especially if you really care about it.
Yeah, the best comment is I've never heard you before. This is great.
It worked.
Look for you. Yeah.
No, it was far.
I'm curious, what was the Jewish reception versus the non-Jewish reception?
Did Jews get upset at it?
I was afraid they might, but I really tried to cross my T's and dot my I's and make sure, like I was telling beforehand, like anytime, you know how like you do a joke about black people?
You better know.
And like if there's like 2 black people in the audience, I'll do it this way so it's not about you. Yeah. Like you just kind of keep your eye on them to make sure it's not like, because it's racial, right?
Yeah.
And so you're like, I just want to make sure it's on the right side of this. So you keep your eye on them. So those 2 audience members are the most important audience members of that night.
They're going to define how everybody feels about that joke.
Same thing with any joke, you know, women or Latinos or I don't know, an autistic joke, whatever.
Yeah. You don't want them to attack you. So
so if I'm doing a joke about women in the wigs and I see them in the audience and I'm doing the joke, I'm keeping my eye on them the whole time. And they're always loving it. They're like, someone's speaking about our experience in a comedy a sphere. It's no way. That never happens.
And you know your shit. You gotta
It's
know your shit.
respectful, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing I realized. Yeah.
You
thought
ever
they
wish
might
there was
get
a
mad,
couple
but they
black
did.
people outside when you're filming that Kobe video?
The what? Yeah, there were black people around.
Keep an eye on him.
Hold this.
Keep an eye on him.
You know what? Maybe tuck that in.
Yeah, but I thought they'd get madder, but they really didn't.
They didn't. Well, it's hard
It's all
for them because
respectful and,
you
like, in
know
love.
your shit,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
I have had some people go, while I was doing it, some people are like, that's not true. That didn't happen. I'm like,
What?
you're
What
wrong.
parts?
Kabbalah parts, or like the dropping a piece of ham in soup. They're like, that's not wrong. Like, you just don't know enough. You're wrong.
Oh, really?
I was higher up than you were. You weren't made aware.
Interesting. But did it make you go back and check? And be
Oh,
like,
a lot.
Yeah.
I had a great closer about Noah and the flood, and how his wife had 40 kids. And I was like, the real hero of the story is he had 40 kids. The real hero of the story is his wife, because like her pussy must have been so fucking blown out. I couldn't even carry a baby to term after 30 kids. And I had this whole act out of these kids coming out of the umbilical cord, grabbing human food and then going back in. And it was just crusher. And then some rabbi in Copenhagen was like, hey man, loved your set, brought in my students. That was so funny. You know Noah did not have 40 kids though, right? And I was like, no, you're wrong. He goes, listen, I don't care. Say whatever you want. That's fine. It was hilarious. I'm like, wait, are you serious? He goes, yeah, I forget. It's 3 or 4. And I'm like, no. And I looked it up and I'm like, I gotta drop it.
Where did you get the 40 from?
I don't know. It's his childhood memory. So I had to figure out which of these is just like vague memories from childhood that you thought, you know, when you think of something, but you're like, the context was off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely thought the sheet with the whole thing. I thought that.
Dude, I learned that on this.
I thought that.
My
was real, bro.
last religious friend from yeshiva came, and he was like, "Great, we don't fuck. That's never happened." I'm like, "That's not true, Rabbi. So and so did it," and he goes, "That's not true, Ari. It's made up." And I'm like, "No way."
Where does it come from?
It comes from a stereotype about tzitzit, about this poncho.
Yeah. With
And
the
I think
with
they
the
were
frills or
yeah,
whatever.
and it came from like the hole in the middle of like a poncho they're hanging up to dry, and they were like, "That must be what it's
the
for."
neighbors saw
The
it
neighbors.
because you put it over, so the neighbors are seeing it.
Yeah. Oh. And it must have been from that. Plus, we hate you, so like, what's there to do?
That's a big ass hole for a dick, though. You know what I mean?
It is a big hole.
Yeah.
It's that part I'm fine with.
But they're cutting off parts of it, so the
Yeah.
neighbors are
Probably like they must have some to spare. Like
Yeah.
that's
I was so sure it was true.
Well, I saw it in Unorthodox, which like apparently, have you seen the show? It's
I saw an episode or two.
Yeah, and I thought that was like perfect representation, and I'm pretty sure they do it in the show.
Yeah, made up.
Fuck, that's crazy.
Did they in the show?
I
didn't
thought
think-
they did.
I think they were trying to have sex just with like I don't think there was an actual hole.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, but they were just both wearing.
That's how
shitty
convinced
gowns.
I was of that. Is that I made it up in the show that it wasn't even in.
Yeah.
And the rib thing too. I
Good
also
for you for fucking taking it out, man.
Yeah.
Because it's so
Yeah.
easy when you get tired. Like, because that's the other thing. Like,
It's
we're not
working.
fucking truth tellers here. We're comedians, and when you get the joke
good
that
enough.
makes people laugh, it's good enough. But when you're putting it out and calling it Jew, now you have a different expectation.
Because I didn't want anybody, I was like, where are they going to get at me?
And they're gonna
Where are they gonna
discredit
get at
you
me?
for all the other shit.
If
Yes,
one thing's wrong,
100%.
everything's wrong.
Yeah.
And it also makes a Jewish person, I imagine, who's still in the religion feel like, yeah, this guy really does. Like, if you had a non-truth in there, they'd be like, yo, fuck this guy. He's just trying to get laughs. But if everything checks out, and also when you speak about religion, there's no malice, there's no animosity. You're not like some atheists where it's like condescending and patronizing. So I think they don't sense any. So it's like, oh, we're just having fun.
I
We're just
used to
joking
be
around.
that.
Yeah.
Oh really?
I went through a period of like, fucking idiots.
Well, yeah, that's what happens.
fuck's wrong
when
with
you
you?
feel like you were robbed of your
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like, nah, have a good time. I get it.
Did
That's-
something pull you back,
Yeah,
or
it
was
was-
it just
Yeah,
gross?
enough
mushrooms.
time.
Doing mushrooms
Yeah,
a lot.
doing mushrooms, yeah.
All the time doing mushrooms.
You know,
It's
your own
not
thing.
worth
Everyone's
being
got
angry
their own
about
path.
things.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
what are we even doing?
But okay, so here's one thing. When this is my struggle even now. It's like with success, less and less things bother me, or I want to complain about less things, or I realize that they're not that important. So
What do you talk about?
Exactly.
Yeah, you need to get worked up over nothing.
But I
Yeah.
think that's
to be able to like sports or politics or
Yeah.
something like that. Or it's like,
well,
I
that's the
don't know.
value of fucking sports for society. It's like you almost need people
Yeah.
to be concerned about a thing.
Yeah.
It's give them bread, give them circus. It's like give them sports.
Yeah, pop culture helps a lot.
Yeah, but I just don't give a
But
fuck.
right,
this
if you don't
much. Yeah.
care, then it's like, then what do you talk about?
That's why the first thing I saw you today, I was like, so how's the new stuff coming?
Yeah.
And that's me going, is there another thing? You can't be Jewish again.
Stanhope said it at some point where he goes, I've talked about everything that really matters to
Bro,
me. I've worked it all out. So what am I going to recover my feelings on abortion? Or
I don't want to do that.
I really think that's the greatness of Burr is how many specials he's put out and how consistent he's been. And even live at the Red Rock, still
The
fucking.
mental illness of being bothered by everything.
Yeah, you stay mad. If you're mad all the time, it helps.
You said
Bobby
this about-
Kelly
You're
too,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You said this about Larry David, and Larry David's not even a stand-up, but you
yeah, that's why
to
he's
be
king.
that
Just
rich.
bugged by things.
And I'm bugged by the
You gotta
smallest
find a
thing.
dentist now.
Yep. You're worth $1 billion and you're still bugged by
Yeah,
stuff.
which is like an annoying way to live. You want to be Buster Douglas, but like he didn't really win again. You
Yeah.
know? It's
Yeah.
like he just got happy.
Interesting. So that didn't affect you at all. You said you have new now that you're writing.
I have new stuff now. Yeah, it's just not. I had all this leftover stuff. So every time I see a homeless guy shitting on a stoop, it's like, well, that can't go in this hour, but I got it.
Are you worried it's not going to mean as much to you?
Well,
'Cause
who kicked him out of his home, do you think? Maybe a group that kicked him out of his home and displaced him?
No,
landlord,
not
perhaps?
paying your bills kicks you out of your home.
Yeah.
Well, I refuse to accept. I need to blame on this.
Yeah, what the heck's going on?
We to
It's a
blame because
personal
you're
choice.
a deadbeat.
It's a personal choice.